This is one of the most disappointing games of Pokemon that I have ever seen. And I mean that with no exaggeration at all. This is genuinely one of the most just abysmal quality games with respect to who should have won. And the turns that went so wrong for the player that should have won. This is from week, I think, 5 of NUPL this year. The biggest NU subform tour that we ever have. It's a team tour. It has most every bastion of NU up to ADV. Occasionally we throw in GSE or RBY. We're just trying to figure out how to allocate the generations. And it's between Pichu Flash and Super Epic Ampharos. And we're going to see a true just robbery. As always, been enjoying this content as of late. Make sure that you subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Drop a like, drop a comment. Join as a member for more content. You know, all of that stuff is great. We see a Seadra lead versus a Seadra lead. This is very wonderful. I love Seadra. It's a very cool Pokemon. So seeing two of them in one battle, amazing. Now, naturally, one of these Seadras has to switch because that exchange is going to go poorly for one person. And so we see Super Ampharos immediately go into this Plusle, and this Plusle, when I tell you that it does more in this battle than it had any right to at all. Oh my lord. So we're going to see the Glalie come out, and this tells me that it's got at least some bulk on it, probably. Because otherwise, Glalie, you know, you're taking a little bit too much from those T-bolts. You really are. And we're going to see the Plusle very easily predict that switch and get a nice sub. Very well done by Pichu Flash, though, understanding that setting a spike on this turn isn't very worth it. Even if you know Plusle is always passing, you just don't want to risk whatever comes out being like a Flareon, or in this case, you know, it was a Metang, even a Hitmonchan. So he just DQs immediately and breaks. Goes back out to his Seadra, because it's never going to take much of anything from this Metang. And then he's going to sub down, because he knows that he can tank another EQ very easily, and just be pushed into his Pataya Barrier range. So far Pichu Flash playing this game out very, very well, getting that Plusle sequence very accurate, I would say, and in making sure to minimize the overall effect of the sub pass. This is where everything spirals out of control, and by out of control, I don't actually mean out of control. Pichu Flash remains very much in control of his destiny this game. But we're gonna see, yeah, we call it Hydro Miss for a reason, because after this Protect, you know, he doesn't have a lot that can switch into this Seadra, so he goes to Plusle because he figures he could Death Fodder it, and then the miss. So we're about to see this Plusle get far more mileage than it should in this battle after dodging that Pumper there. He's going to T-bolt the Glalie as it comes out. Just very, very nice chip. And he's going to sub, because you know what? Why not? You may as well. The Glalie might spike, predicting you to hard switch, and then you can get another sub pass, maybe into... So far we're seeing like a team trying to weaken water types, so maybe there's like a Pelipper on there with agility. Just an example of something that could be passed into. He's going to get Seadra back in now, because as we saw with Pichu's Seadra versus the Metang, EQs that are not stat boosted, just not really doing enough to threaten Seadra all that meaningfully. And so the Seadra now able to get a good position, Hydro Pump too. We see just in general two very similar ideas between the teams. Both of them looking to overwhelm bulky water types in the early and mid game, setting up potentially, or again, you know, like an Agility Pelipper sweep late, a Rain Dance Huntail sweep late, something like that. So that's what I want y'all to keep in mind this whole game. That is what these players are building to. So Metang, naturally it comes out not exactly the best switch into a water move. You could take that hit in a pinch, but it's very, very hard. And we're seeing this Mon just take these hits, and yeah, his play is set up a light screen. It's like the idea of running light screen Glalie. You're just trying to get that little extra buffer against those really powerful special attacks, which maybe you don't have a resistance to. So Metang's going to set that up. Go into his Blossom here, because this is actually a water resist. The problem is, you don't really like using your Blossom like this, because this is Sunny Day Blossom. It is designed to come out late game and try and sweep. Or, you know, in the mid game, maybe put something to sleep. But we're going to see a very interesting Seadra tech here that I personally have never seen before. The Seadra's going to go for Substitute. That's normal. The Sunny Day is very easy to predict here. Otherwise, you know, what's Pichu Flash going for? Solar Beam and charge it an up one turn? Sleep Powder versus the Mon faster than it? Yeah, none of those make too much sense. And we're going to see Toxic revealed from Seadra, which is very, very cool and very interesting. I've never seen Toxic on Elite Sieger before. Usually what you see is just 3 attacks with Substitute. I think the set definitely caught Pichu Flash off guard, and now this Blossom is not winning the game. At least, not easily. So, very good switch to the Matang here, proper sleep foddering, I would say, and he's going to immediately hard switch on out, back into Seadra, knowing an HP Fire is likely to come out, and now you can just kind of play around the thing as well as you can. Now, I think Pichu Flash misplays this turn as he goes for a Solar Beam. I think HP Fire is a bit better, because you know that Seadra is in range of it, and if he had gone Matang, you would have caught that for more damage anyway, if he's trying to pivot between these 2 mons. And then the Glalie, as we see, comes out. Probably a pretty bulky set, given only took 54. Maybe there was the worry that a Fire type was in the back, which I can respect. You don't want to let a Flareon come out for free and then just start beating you down. The structure of this team does not lead me to believe there is a very good defensive Flare answer anywhere, so that was probably the vision. I just think HP Fire was probably still safest. But he does Solar Beam, and it still is great chip. And he's forced in Matang here. And this Glalie, probably not EQ. He switches out there, and also just given the team, I wouldn't be shocked at all if he's like fully specially defensive. But we see a good Boom Sack, and then we're going to see another Boom Sack, I guess, on Pichu Flashes it as the opposing Glalie booms. Ensuring that this spike, which for some reason doesn't show up on the screen, but here you go. There's a spike on Pichu Flash's side of the field. He just makes sure that he'll always retain that advantage. Not have to worry about Pichu Flash getting any of his own. Now this is where what I mean by Plusle does way more this game than it needs to really comes into play. This Plusle gets to sub here, activate the Pataya boost, and now Baton Pass into a very big threat, Haunter. Like I said, this is what I mean by this mod does way more than it had any right to. It was able to get extra turns on the field, you know, sub pass, throw off T-Bolt, pass the boost. I mean, this is just not good. And I'm going to see Pichu Flash kind of just be forced into sacking more Pokemon because this is a Haunter. He's very powerful. I'm also almost certain if this was a Salac Berry Haunter, that things could have gotten real bad if there was a crit here. Thankfully for Pichu Flash, he is Pataya, and so Flareon will take the hit as he actually booms here. But you get the idea. Flareon would have taken a T-Bolt, I believe, unless he was the most... I don't know what set you'd have to be to not have Flareon take 1 T-Bolt from near full. But he does make a very, very good play here. Just in case, what this play means is Pichu Flash knew he would tank the T-Bolt. He was just trying to see if maybe there'd be a greedy boom early. Potentially, you know, who knows? The last mod is not revealed. I think by this point, Huntail is a very good assumption, or Agility Pelipper, just some fast Rain Sweeper, or Water type Sweeper, I should say. So it's not a bad scout just to see anyway. Like, okay, will he get greedy and boom? Maybe. But he does. I think that is, frankly, a misplay from SCA. I don't think you needed to boom on Flareon, but he might have been concerned about this having Quick Attack. And Quick Attack Flare would be able to pick off the Plusle. Obviously, Matang is not beating this Mon. And then your last Mon, well, there's Sun Up. You're not exactly excited about trying to Rich Gold Flareon at that point. We do see, though, this Flareon never had Quick Attack. At least he didn't go for it if he did for some reason. And so now SCA knows that this is a very, very safe Huntail angle. He will Rain Dance up, but keep in mind, this game is not over. This game's not over. There's still an unrevealed on Pichu Flash's team. And as he sacks Flare, we actually see his own Huntail come out. Now, EV spread depending here. He will tank an HP Electric. Not well, but he will tank it. And if he does, well, he takes this out. Matang is asleep for a guaranteed 1 turn. Pichu Flash somehow, despite that Pichu dodging the pump earlier, getting to give Haunter just that extra increased presence, giving in general the extra sub passes, making it much harder to make that progress because, well, if you're hitting a substitute, you can't make progress. You also just have free save switches with Baton Pass. Makes it a lot harder when your opponent can just keep passing around and you don't have as much agency over that. And then, well, this happened. Bonk! That crit does matter. Bunkhouse in chat, of course, saying speed tie and crit. Who knows if it was a speed tie? Dahuntel could have had more speed, but the crit's what mattered, right? That was the game of Pokemon played on the Pokemon Showdown website. Very unfortunate game if you're a Pichu Flash supporter. I have no words. Sometimes Pokemon just does not want you to win. The simulator decides, no, you don't get to win this round. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.